We're counting down 10 powers that let one corporation govern 38 square miles of Florida, not as a landlord, but with authority rivaling a county. From self-written building codes and a private fire department to federal airspace restrictions no other company has ever held, each entry gets more extraordinary. It starts at number 10, a swamp, a governor's signature, and a charter unlike anything in American law. In the 10th place, on May 12, 1967, Florida Governor Claude Kirk signed Chapter 67, 764, the Reedy Creek Improvement Act. While an ordinary developer must beg county boards for simple building permits, this law handed Disney its own 38 square mile public district spanning Orange and Osceola counties. This 25,000-acre tract of raw pasture and swamp was suddenly under the control of a public corporation where voting power was determined by land ownership. Because Disney owned almost every acre, they effectively became the local government before laying a single brick. But establishing a private county was only the first step. Number 9. Reedy Creek was granted county equivalent authority directly inside its borders. If you want to build a subdivision in Florida, you must submit site plans, zoning petitions, and environmental impact reports to local county commissioners who can reject your project. Disney bypassed this entire democratic process. The state vested full public authority over zoning, land use, and roads directly within the district itself. Because voting rights in Reedy Creek were based on land ownership and Disney owned 99% of the land, they handpicked the board that approved their own projects. They didn't just build a theme park, they built a legal fortress. But holding the theoretical powers of a county was only useful if you could build the physical infrastructure to support it. 8th place. While an ordinary developer pays taxes to a county and waits for the local government to build roads, Disney built its own public finance machinery. Reedy Creek held the absolute authority to levy ad valorem property taxes, collect fees, and adopt local laws. In fiscal year 2022 to 2023 alone, the district generated $183,016,143 in general and debt service revenue. This was not a symbolic setup. It was an operational public finance system funded by Disney's own self-taxation, allowing them to bypass county budgets entirely. But writing your own tax laws was just the beginning. Number 7. In 1970, the district established the Epcot building codes. While an ordinary Florida developer must spend months begging county boards to approve basic blueprints, Disney bypassed local regulators entirely by writing its own structural laws. These were not mere aesthetic design guidelines. They were strict, legally enforceable construction regulations. The district's private inspectors could instantly greenlight radical engineering choices from Cinderella Castle to complex thrill rides and mandate automatic sprinkler systems decades before they became statewide standards. This self-policing authority allowed Disney to dictate its own development timelines without ever waiting on a county permit. But writing your own fire code was just the beginning. 6th place. Reedy Creek operated its own full-scale fire rescue department, complete with 4 stations, a private 911 communications network, and advanced life support (EMS). While an ordinary business must rely on municipal emergency services, Disney funded its own public safety network entirely through district tax revenue, bypassing county control. This setup delivered rapid response times, reportedly clocking in at just 6 to 8 minutes. It also enabled hyper-customized fire prevention. Cinderella Castle, constructed largely from highly combustible fiberglass, was outfitted with automated sprinklers and computer-linked heat sensors designed to summon crews before a flame could even take hold. By running their own emergency services, Disney completely replaced a core county duty with a private, self-funded rescue force. Number 5. While a typical municipality relies on external power grids and regional public works, Disney built its own closed-loop civilization. Operating as Reedy Creek Energy Services, this private utility network generated approximately $219 million in revenue. It was not a hypothetical legal right, but a fully functioning industrial empire. Hidden from tourist eyes, the district operated 12 on-site wells, a wastewater treatment plant capable of processing 15 million gallons per day, and a massive combined cycle cogeneration plant rated at 196 megawatts, situated right next to the Magic Kingdom. Underground high-voltage lines distributed electricity, chilled water, and solid waste services across 38 square miles, completely independent of local county networks. Disney had successfully engineered a self-contained habitat, insulating itself from municipal reliance. But as impressive as controlling your own power grid was, the ultimate legal shield lay in the sky above. Number 4. The 1967 charter didn't just grant Disney power over ground-level infrastructure. It extended into the skies and the atomic realm. While an ordinary Florida landowner faces endless state hearings and environmental vetoes just to clear a commercial landing strip, Chapter 67, 764 gave the district a direct statutory pathway to build its own airport and even generate power through nuclear fission. Of course, federal licensing and safety permits still applied, and Disney ultimately built neither a nuclear reactor nor a commercial jetport. These remain dormant powers on paper. Yet, no other private corporation in the state possessed a statutory framework that bypassed municipal planning to authorize an atomic reactor. It was a massive legal shield, granting them the hypothetical authority to go nuclear. But as wild as atomic energy sounds, some of the most practical shielding was drafted right into the sky. Number 3. While any ordinary Florida landowner can look up to see commercial flights and private drones crossing their airspace, Disney secured a literal shield in the sky. Over Walt Disney World, a permanent Federal Aviation Administration flight restriction bars unauthorized aircraft and drones from entering a 3 nautical mile radius below 3,000 feet. This restriction, documented in FAA records from 2014, grants the resort a layout of protection functionally identical to the airspace over the White House and the U.S. Capitol. Disney does not own this sky, and federal authorities must enforce it, but no other private company has its property protected by federal security zones. Yet, as powerful as guarding the skies is, what happened on the ground was even more untouchable. In second place, Florida's amusement safety laws contained a massive carve-out. While ordinary carnival and theme park operators face regular state safety inspections, any company with more than 1,000 employees and full-time on-site inspectors could self-police. Disney fell perfectly into this category, shielding its attractions from independent state structural scrutiny. This included the 15-mile monorail system, which carries up to 150,000 passengers daily during peak seasons. For decades, the state simply took Disney's word that its massive transit system was safe. That era of self-policing ended abruptly following the political fallout of 2023. Under new state laws, the Florida Department of Transportation conducted its first on-site inspection in July 2023, actively scanning the monorail's concrete support columns and horizontal beams. This high-volume mass transit system is at last subject to the same public safety standards as every other fixed guideway system in the state. And finally, in first place, the 55-year era of absolute corporate sovereignty met its match not in a boardroom, but in a political firestorm. In 2022, Disney publicly opposed Florida's Parental Rights in Education Act, triggering an immediate and aggressive state backlash. By April of that year, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill targeting the Reedy Creek Improvement District for complete dissolution by June 1, 2023. While an ordinary company would face ruinous tax transfers to local counties, a subsequent restructuring in 2023 preserved the district's tax machinery under a new name, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. But the rules of the game had fundamentally changed. The state stripped Disney of its hand-picked landowner governance, replacing it with a 5-member board appointed directly by the governor. Dormant, high-profile powers like building a nuclear power plant, an airport, or a sports stadium were permanently revoked, and building codes were forced towards statewide standards. While the district still manages roads, utilities, and emergency services, Disney no longer holds the keys to its own private government. How much of Disney's unusual autonomy truly survived this historic restructuring, and how much has vanished forever? Subscribe to our channel for more investigative documentaries. Together, these powers expose one truth. The line between public government and private corporation didn't just blur here. It vanished. Yet, as this 1967 corporate kingdom faces unprecedented state oversight, how much of Disney's unusual power actually remains today? Subscribe for more investigative documentaries.